The glow of CRT screens, the symphony of 8-bit soundtracks, and the thrill of chasing high scores. Arcades once buzzed with pixelated magic. From neon-lit corners to crowded pizza parlors, these games were not just entertainment, they were cultural landmarks. Today, we rewind to the golden age of arcade games and explore the top 20 titles that transformed the arcade jungle and paved the way for the future. Before we dive in, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more retro deep dives. Let's get started. What is Golden Age arcade video games? Before we get started, let's talk about what we actually mean when we talk about the Golden Age of arcade gaming. Well, it was the period between the late 1970s and early 1980s when arcades became pop culture's coolest hangout spots. It all kicked off with Space Invaders, releasing in 1978 and paving the path for other shoot-'em-up games. These games were so addictive, they practically had players glued to their screens. This era earned its golden title thanks to a burst of innovation it introduced. New gameplay mechanics, vibrant colors, catchy soundtracks, and characters that practically became household names. It was the time when Pac-Man was devouring dots and ghosts. Donkey Kong had a little guy jumping over barrels, Hello Mario, and games like Asteroids and Galaga sent players into frantic high-score chases. Each title brought something revolutionary to the table, not just in design, but in how people interacted with gaming. Arcades became electric social hubs where friends competed, shared tips, and marveled at the cutting-edge tech of the day. This period wasn't just about fun, it was the playground for creativity that laid the foundation for modern gaming. But just like other good things, the golden age of arcade gaming started to fade with the rise of clones and the NES. However, in its short span, this era gave us some of the most cherished games, and this video is a celebration of those games. Space Invaders, 1978. Kicking off the list, we have the game that ignited the arcade revolution, Space Invaders. Imagine a lone laser cannon at the bottom of the screen, fending off an endless wave of pixelated alien invaders slowly creeping closer. That's the heart-pounding thrill Space Invaders delivered to players worldwide. Conceived by Tomohiro Nishikado, the game was born out of a blend of sci-fi inspiration and technical ingenuity. At a time when video games were still in their infancy, Space Invaders broke new ground with its simple yet addictive gameplay. You didn't just play, you entered a battle of wits and reflexes, where every shot counted, and every moment was a race against time as the aliens inched ever closer. What makes Space Invaders truly special is how it transformed limited technology into an unforgettable experience. Its stark, monochrome graphics, and iconic sound effects, those relentless, accelerating beeps, created an atmosphere of suspense and excitement that was revolutionary for its time. Even with its minimalist design, the game managed to capture the imagination of millions, setting the stage for the future of gaming. Space Invaders earned its spot on our list because it wasn't just a game, it was a cultural phenomenon. It redefined entertainment, inspired countless imitations, and proved that even the simplest concepts can change the world. Galaxian, 1979. Galaxian, released in 1979 by Namco, is the dazzling evolution of the classic Space Invaders formula that lit up arcades everywhere. Picture this. You're at the controls of your little spaceship, facing off against a lively armada of alien foes that break formation in daring, dive-bombing attacks. Unlike its monochrome predecessor, Galaxian burst onto the scene with brilliant RGB colors that transformed the screen into a cosmic light show. Each alien sparkled with personality, making the invasion feel like an intergalactic dance-off rather than a predictable march. The game's charm lies in its simple yet electrifying gameplay. With every level, you're challenged to anticipate unpredictable enemy maneuvers, timing your shots perfectly to snag bonus points while dodging those thrilling risk-reward dive attacks. That element of daring, where getting a little too close could mean massive points or instant doom, kept players on the edge of their seats, hungry for one one more round. Galaxian wasn't just a visual treat. It revolutionized arcade gameplay by adding a layer of strategy and spontaneity. Its innovative use of color and dynamic enemy behavior set the stage for future classics, inspiring sequels like Galaga that continued to push the envelope in shooter design. In short, Galaxian earned its place among arcade legends by blending cutting-edge technology with addictive gameplay, creating an experience that remains a beloved milestone in the history of video games. Asteroids, 1979. Asteroids, launched by Atari, is a true cosmic classic that redefined arcade gameplay with its mesmerizing vector graphics and zero-gravity physics. In this game, you pilot a nimble spaceship in a vast, ever-changing asteroid field. Your mission? Dodge, shoot, and break apart colossal space rocks before they crash into your vessel, all while staying alert for those pesky flying saucers that add an extra twist to the chaos. What makes Asteroids so special is its simplicity and challenge wrapped in an otherworldly aesthetic. The game's vector graphics, with their crisp, glowing lines, were a radical departure from the blocky sprites of the era. This design choice not only gave the game a futuristic vibe, but also allowed for smooth, fluid animations that made every explosion feel like a burst of cosmic fireworks. The gameplay is deceptively straightforward, yet brilliantly addictive. Maneuvering in a frictionless space meant that every shot, turn, and collision had real consequences. It wasn't just about reflexes, it was a dance with physics, where controlling momentum was key to survival. Each session felt like an unpredictable space odyssey, filled with tension and exhilaration. Asteroids earned its spot on the list because it wasn't merely a game, it was a groundbreaking experience that pushed the boundaries of technology and design. Its legacy lives on as a pillar of arcade history, reminding us that, sometimes, a simple idea can launch an entire universe of innovation and fun. Lunar Lander, 1979. I still remember my first encounter with Lunar Lander. It was like stepping into a real-life space mission. I found myself at the helm of a fragile lunar module, tasked with the nerve-wracking challenge of landing gently on the moon's rugged surface. Every time I started a game, my heart would race as I adjusted the thrusters, carefully managing my fuel and fighting against the relentless pull of gravity. One tiny miscalculation, and I was crashing into a crater. What really hooked me was how the game transformed a simple coin drop into an adrenaline-pumping adventure. The realistic physics engine made every shot, turn, and collision feel genuine, like I was actually piloting a spacecraft. Even though the graphics were minimalist, those crisp, neon vector lines might seem basic now, they captured an eerie, otherworldly charm that transported me straight to the lunar surface. And the sound effects? They added just the right amount of tension, turning each landing attempt into a mini space odyssey. Lunar Lander wasn't just another arcade game for me, it was an exhilarating test of precision and nerves that made me feel like a real astronaut. That blend of imaginative gameplay, authentic physics, and that unforgettable space vibe is exactly why Lunar Lander earned its spot on this list of arcade legends. Pac-Man, 1980, an arcade phenomenon that transformed the gaming landscape, this maze chase icon burst onto the scene with an energy and charm that captured the hearts of millions. Centered around a vibrant labyrinth, the game challenges players to navigate winding corridors filled with pellets, while a lively yellow character tirelessly works to clear the maze. Pursuing this hero are 4 distinct, colorful ghosts whose erratic patterns create a thrilling game of cat and mouse. The strategic depth of the gameplay emerges from the delicate balance of risk and reward. Consuming power pellets temporarily flips the tables, allowing the hero to chase down the once menacing ghosts and score extra points, all while maintaining an ever-present sense of urgency. The visual design set a new standard for arcade aesthetics, featuring bright, cheerful colors and clean, iconic shapes that remain instantly recognizable even decades later. The maze's bold lines and the character's unmistakable form were a refreshing departure from the more abstract visuals of earlier games, creating an accessible and engaging experience for players of all ages. Complementing the visuals, the rhythmic chomp of pellets and the suspenseful sound effects during ghost encounters heightened the immersive quality of the game, drawing players into its fast-paced world. Beyond its captivating gameplay and striking graphics, this arcade gem ignited a cultural revolution. It became became a symbol of the arcade era, inspiring not only sequels and spin-offs, but also influencing game design across the industry. With its perfect blend of strategy, charm, and excitement, it continues to be celebrated as one of the most influential and enduring classics in video game history. Missile Command 1980. Missile Command isn't just a game, it's an all-out, adrenaline-fueled battle that redefined arcade warfare. As a die-hard arcade enthusiast, nothing compares to the thrill of defending a city against a relentless hail of enemy missiles. The moment the screen bursts into life, you're plunged into a high-stakes world where every second counts and every shot matters. Picture this: a dark, ominous sky streaked with enemy missiles, each one threatening to obliterate your beloved cities. Your mission? Command an array of defense batteries and intercept these deadly projectiles before they can wreak havoc. The gameplay is brilliantly straightforward, yet brutally challenging. You're racing against time, calculating angles, and firing interceptors with pinpoint precision, while the intensity ramps up as the missiles multiply and their speed increases. The visual impact is nothing short of mesmerizing. Bold, neon explosions light up the screen, creating a dramatic contrast against the inky backdrop, a design that perfectly captures the chaotic energy of a wartime defense. The soundscape adds another layer of excitement. Rapid-fire beeps, explosive booms, and the urgent hiss of missiles in flight transport you straight into the heart of a digital battlefield. Missile Command was a product of its era, echoing the Cold War's tense atmosphere with its apocalyptic visuals and relentless gameplay. Yet, it transcends its historical context, standing as a timeless challenge that continues to test the reflexes and strategic minds of gamers even today. Berserk 1980. A groundbreaking maze shooter from the golden era, this arcade legend hurled players into a dystopian labyrinth filled with relentless killer robots and flickering neon corridors. Unlike many of its contemporaries, it wasn't just about racking up high scores. It was a full-throttle battle for survival in an ever-changing digital maze. Players had to navigate winding, interconnected rooms while fending off a horde of mechanically precise foes determined to capture or eliminate them at every turn. What set this title apart was its pioneering use of synthesized speech. In an age when most games relied solely on beeps and blips, the eerie, computerized taunts of the enemy robots, uttering phrases like "intruder alert," instilled an unparalleled sense of urgency and dread. These vocal interjections weren't merely for show. They elevated the atmosphere, turning each encounter into a pulse-pounding showdown that was unforgettable. The gameplay was brilliantly straightforward, yet it demanded a perfect blend of strategic maneuvering and lightning-fast reflexes. The player's mission was clear: outwit and outgun the mechanized adversaries while darting through the maze's shadowy corridors. The minimalist visuals, defined by stark, monochromatic mazes, punctuated by spirited flashes of color for the enemy robots, lent the game a futuristic, almost dystopian aura that resonated with the technological optimism and occasional anxiety of its time. This arcade marvel secured its spot among gaming's elite, not only for its raw, unfiltered action, but also for its innovation. It pushed the boundaries of what was possible in interactive entertainment, leaving an indelible mark on the history of video games that still sparks admiration and inspiration today. Defender 1981. Defender is a cornerstone of arcade history that pushed the boundaries of interactive entertainment. As a seminal side-scrolling shooter, it challenged players to pilot a nimble starfighter through a relentlessly scrolling battlefield, where the primary objective was to safeguard vulnerable humanoids from waves of alien abductors. This high-octane mission demanded not only rapid reflexes, but also keen strategic insight, as every moment could pivot the tide between survival and obliteration. The gameplay in Defender is a masterclass in tension and precision. Players face an ever-escalating barrage of enemies, with unpredictable patterns that keep the adrenaline pumping. The introduction of innovative power-ups, like the game-changing Smart Bomb, added a layer of strategic depth that allowed a well-timed intervention to clear the screen in moments of overwhelming peril. This delicate balance between offense and defense elevated the experience, ensuring that each playthrough felt distinct and challenging. Graphically, Defender was nothing short of revolutionary for its era. The fluid, side-scrolling landscapes, were rendered with meticulous detail, creating an expansive and immersive environment that drew players deep into its futuristic battlefield. The crisp, vivid sprites and dynamic animations broke away from the static displays typical of early arcade games, offering a visual feast that perfectly complemented the frenetic action. Accompanied by a pulse-pounding soundtrack and explosive sound effects, Defender's audiovisual presentation cemented its status as an enduring classic. Its influence resonates even in modern shooters, reflecting the inventive spirit and technological prowess of the golden age of gaming. Donkey Kong, 1981. In 1981, Nintendo unveiled Donkey Kong, a pioneering arcade game that not only introduced the world to the now iconic Mario, but also laid the foundation for the platformer genre. This game marked a significant turning point for Nintendo, transitioning from a playing card company to a dominant force in the video game industry. In Donkey Kong, players control Jumpman, later known as Mario, as he ascends a series of platforms to rescue Pauline from the titular antagonist, Donkey Kong. Each level presents unique challenges, increasing in difficulty as the game progresses. The game's narrative depth was complemented by its creative gameplay mechanics. Players navigated through 4 distinct levels, each presenting unique challenges that increased in difficulty. This multi-stage design was groundbreaking, offering a complexity that was rare in arcade games of that era. Visually, Donkey Kong stood out with its vibrant color palette and distinct character designs. The game's graphics were a significant leap forward, providing a more immersive and engaging experience compared to its contemporaries. The sound design, with its catchy tunes and sound effects, further enhanced the overall experience, making it a sensory delight for players. The cultural impact of Donkey Kong cannot be overstated. It was one of the first games to feature a narrative, with players taking on the role of a hero, Jumpman, to rescue a damsel in distress, Pauline, from the titular antagonist, Donkey Kong. This storytelling element, combined with its engaging gameplay, revolutionized the arcade scene. The game's success not only solidified Nintendo's position in the gaming industry, but also paved the way for future franchises, including the beloved Super Mario series. Frogger, 1981. Frogger is an arcade classic that transformed a mundane journey into an adrenaline-fueled quest, showcasing the ingenuity of early game design. This title challenged players to guide a tiny amphibian through a perilous urban jungle and across a rushing river, where every step was a calculated risk. Navigating busy highways filled with speeding cars and lumbering trucks, the frog's survival depended on impeccable timing and strategic planning. Once on the other side, a new gauntlet awaited, a river brimming with drifting logs and erratic turtles, some of which concealed hidden dangers beneath their seemingly benign surfaces. The visual presentation, with its vivid color palette and whimsical charm, belied the intense concentration required to master each level. The crisp, animated graphics captured the chaos of traffic and the fluid motion of water, creating an immersive environment that was as challenging as it was endearing. Ingeniously simple, yet profoundly engaging, Frogger's gameplay demanded both quick reflexes and a keen sense of timing, making every leap a heart-pounding encounter with potential disaster. Beyond its immediate appeal, Frogger's impact on the gaming landscape is undeniable. It paved the way for future titles that combined everyday scenarios with high-stakes action, proving that even the simplest concepts could be transformed into captivating digital experiences. Celebrated for its balance of charm and challenge, Frogger remains a touchstone of arcade excellence, a timeless testament to the creativity and innovation that defined the golden era of video games. Centipede, 1981. Centipede emerged from the creative furnace of the early 1980s as a revolutionary arcade shooter that transformed immersive gaming. Designed by Atari, this title captivated audiences with its ingenious trackball controls and colorful neon visuals. The narrative is deceptively simple: a segmented centipede, relentlessly advancing and disintegrating with each precise shot, becomes a metaphor for chaos meeting order in a digital realm. The mechanics strike a perfect perfect balance between frenetic action and strategic precision. Players must simultaneously manage the Centipede's shifting form and dodge a barrage of secondary threats like spiders and scorpions, each enemy introducing its own layer of challenge. From a cultural perspective, Centipede represents a seminal moment where art and technology converged to create an immersive sensory experience. Its bold, colorful graphics and pulsating audio not only set the standard for arcade aesthetics, but also resonate with modern trends that favor dynamic, minimalist design. Contemporary indie titles often echo Centipede's blend of simplicity and complexity, drawing inspiration from its core principles to deliver engaging experiences that are both accessible and richly layered. Moreover, Centipede's enduring appeal lies in its raw, unfiltered mechanics that evoke powerful emotional responses and foster deep connections to interactive art. In an era characterized by hyper-realistic graphics and narrative-driven experiences, its minimalist design and pure gameplay remind players of the foundational joy of gaming, a joy that continues to influence and shape the future of digital entertainment. Galaga, 1981. Galaga, released by Namco in 1981, is a revolutionary arcade shooter game that has left an indelible mark on gaming history. As a sequel to 1979's Galaxian, Galaga expanded upon its predecessor's mechanics, introducing innovative features that captivated players and set new standards for arcade games. Building upon the foundation laid by Galaxian, Namco sought to create a more engaging and complex shooter. The development team, led by Shigeru Yokoyama, introduced new gameplay elements, such as the dual fighter mechanic, where players could rescue captured ships to double their firepower. This innovation added strategic depth and was inspired by cinematic depictions of spacecraft being captured by beams, reflecting the era's fascination with space exploration. Players control a starfighter at the bottom of the screen, tasked with destroying formations of alien enemies that execute complex attack patterns. The iconic Boss Galaga ships could capture the player's fighter, introducing a risk-reward dynamic where rescuing the ship granted enhanced offensive capabilities. This mechanic, along with challenging bonus stages, kept players engaged and returning for higher scores. Galaga's influence extends beyond its initial arcade success. It has been referenced in various films, television shows, and other video games, cementing its status as a cultural touchstone. Its enduring popularity is evident in its frequent inclusion in modern gaming compilations and retro gaming events, where it continues to be celebrated by new generations of players. The game's straightforward yet challenging gameplay resonates with contemporary players seeking pure, skill-based experiences. In an age where games often feature complex narratives and mechanics, Galaga's simplicity offers a nostalgic return to the fundamentals of gaming. Tempest, 1981. Tempest stands as a testament to early gaming innovation, an arcade title that defied convention and redefined the shooter genre. Crafted by Atari's visionary designer Dave Thurer, Tempest launched in 1981 with a bold, avant-garde approach that still captivates modern audiences. Unlike typical flat-screen shooters, Tempest plunged players into a dynamic, tube-shaped arena rendered entirely in sharp vector graphics, a style that, even decades later, exudes a striking, timeless appeal. At its core, Tempest is an exercise in spatial mastery and reflex precision. Players control a nimble, claw-like ship that glides along the periphery of a rotating geometric tunnel, tasked with eradicating waves of enemies that surge from the center. This unique, pseudo-3D gameplay demands not only quick reflexes, but also a keen sense of spatial awareness, making each round a finely balanced contest between chaos and control. What truly sets Tempest apart is its abstract narrative, conveyed purely through design and gameplay rather than conventional storytelling. The pulsating neon lines and rhythmic sound effects create an immersive, almost hypnotic experience that invites interpretation, an early nod to the fusion of art and technology in video games. Today, Tempest's influence is palpable in modern indie titles that emphasize minimalist design and pure mechanics. Its pioneering vector graphics and inventive control scheme paved the way for future experiments in game design, solidifying its status as both a technical marvel and a cultural touchstone. Bert, 1982. I still remember the first time I encountered Bert. What an experience that was. I was instantly drawn into its vivid, isometric world, where I controlled this quirky, orange character with a penchant for leaping across a pyramid of multicolored cubes. The gameplay was deceptively simple. Hop from cube to change their colors, all while dodging a parade of bizarre adversaries. Each jump felt like a small victory, and the challenge of avoiding pesky enemies like the coiled snake, Coily, kept me on the edge of my seat. What really set Bert apart for me was its unique visual style and unforgettable audio. The game's isometric design wasn't just visually appealing, it created a sense of depth that made every move feel crucial. And that distinctive, garbled voice repeating Bert every time I made a jump, it was quirky, endearing, and oddly hypnotic, adding personality to what could have been just another arcade game. Over time, Bert became more than just a game. It was a cultural phenomenon that captured the essence of early arcade ingenuity. Its blend of challenging mechanics, creative design, and a character that stood out from the crowd resonated with me and countless other gamers. Even today, when I revisit Bert, I'm reminded of an era when simple concepts and creative execution were enough to redefine interactive entertainment. Ms. Pac-Man, 1982. Ms. Pac-Man, released in 1982, is a landmark arcade game that not only built upon the success of its predecessor, Pac-Man, but also introduced significant innovations that captivated players worldwide. The game's inception is quite intriguing. It began as an enhancement kit called Crazy Otto, developed by General Computer Corporation, GCC, intended to modify existing Pac-Man machines. However, due to legal constraints from a prior dispute with Atari, GCC presented the project to Midway, Pac-Man's North American distributor. Midway saw potential in the project and collaborated with GCC to transform Crazy Otto into Ms. Pac-Man. This collaboration resulted in a game that not only featured a female protagonist, but also introduced several gameplay enhancements. In terms of playability, Ms. Pac-Man improved on its predecessor in several ways. There were now 4 different multicolored mazes instead of just one. The prize fruit, rather than just resting below the ghost's lair, bounced around the mazes, adding a new chase element as players had to decide whether to pursue the moving reward, gobble dots, or dodge the ghosts. The ghosts were smarter too, with a dash of randomness to their patterns that kept players from memorizing their movement sequences. Ms. Pac-Man's brilliant color palette and distinctive character design made it visually appealing. The introduction of a female lead character was groundbreaking, challenging the male-dominated landscape of early video games. Ms. Pac-Man's distinctive design, complete with a bow and beauty mark, added personality and broadened the game's appeal. The game's vibrant graphics and engaging animations set it apart, making it visually appealing and enhancing the overall player experience. Dig Dug, 1982. Dig Dug is an absolute arcade gem that still gets my heart racing every time I think about it. I vividly remember the electrifying rush of diving into its underground world. There's something incredibly satisfying about carving your own maze through the dirt, only to face off against those quirky, menacing critters, Puka and Figar. The game's concept is brilliantly simple, yet wildly innovative. Dig tunnels, strategically trap your foes, and then pump them full of air until they burst into a shower of pixels. What blew me away was how Dig Dug fused strategy with frantic action. Every move demanded precision and split-second timing as I maneuvered through a labyrinth of tunnels, constantly on the lookout for enemy ambushes. The thrill of outsmarting a relentless foe and watching them deflate into oblivion was unlike anything else in the arcade scene. It wasn't just about raw reflexes, it was about outthinking your adversary in a rapidly shifting subterranean battlefield. The visuals may seem modest by today's standards, but there's an undeniable charm to its vibrant, cartoonish art style that perfectly captures the essence of early 80s gaming. The sound effects, too, add a playful yet urgent soundtrack to each heart-pounding moment. Dig Dug isn't merely a game, it's an explosion of creativity that exemplified the golden era of arcade innovation. It broke the mold and redefined what an arcade experience could be. For a true gaming buff like me, Dig Dug remains a timeless reminder of the pure joy and ingenuity that made classic arcade games so unforgettable. Pole Position, 1982. Pole Position is a groundbreaking arcade racing experience that redefined the entire genre. Born out of Namco's visionary drive to merge the thrill of motorsports with cutting-edge technology, the game drew inspiration from real-world racetracks like the Fuji Speedway. This wasn't just another racing game, it introduced a qualifying lap that set the stage for the main race, adding an unexpected layer of strategy that challenged players to perfect every turn before the real competition began. The gameplay is a masterclass in precision and timing. Players are thrust into a high-octane race where every decision matters, from acceleration to braking, as they navigate a twisting, challenging track filled with hairpin turns and sharp curves. The immersive behind-the-car perspective was revolutionary at the time, making you feel every twist of the wheel and every surge of speed. It was a true test of reflexes and nerve, pushing gamers to their limits in pursuit of that perfect lap. Graphically, Pole Position was nothing short of a marvel. Its smooth scrolling backgrounds, lively color palette, and pseudo-3D visuals brought the excitement of a real racetrack to life, drawing players into a dynamic and visually captivating world. The game's design captured the spirit of competitive racing, making every session an adrenaline-fueled journey. Pole Position deserves its spot among arcade legends for its creative approach and lasting influence. It not only set the benchmark for future racing games, but also cemented its legacy as a timeless icon in the evolution of interactive entertainment. Robotron, 2084 to 1982. Williams Electronics' 1982 arcade game, Robotron 2084, revolutionized the shooter genre with its fast-paced action and unique control layout. Developed by Eugene Jarvis and Larry DeMar of Vid Kids, the game draws inspiration from earlier titles like Berserk and Space Invaders, as well as dystopian themes from George Orwell's 1984. Set in a dystopian future where robots have turned against humanity, players control the Robotron hero, a superpowered mutant tasked with rescuing the last human family. The game employs a unique dual joystick control system. The left joystick maneuvers the character, while the right joystick controls the direction of fire. This design allows for independent movement and shooting, enabling players to navigate the screen while firing in any direction, a feature that was groundbreaking at the time. Each level, or wave, presents a single-screen arena filled with various enemy robots exhibiting distinct behaviors. Enemies range from simple grunts that chase the player to more complex adversaries, like brains, that can manipulate humans into enemies. The objective is to destroy all hostile robots while rescuing humans for additional points, all amidst increasingly chaotic scenarios. The dual joystick control scheme was conceived partly due to Jarvis's dissatisfaction with existing shooter controls, and a personal injury that limited his ability to use traditional joystick and button setups. This innovation provided players with unprecedented control and contributed to the game's intense pace. The design philosophy aimed to induce a sense of panic by presenting players with conflicting goals and threats from multiple directions, creating a relentless and immersive experience. Robotron 2084 received critical acclaim for its challenging gameplay and inventive controls, selling approximately 19,000 arcade cabinets. It popularized the twin-stick shooter genre and influenced numerous subsequent titles, including Jarvis's own Smash TV. The game's legacy persists, with its design principles evident in modern shooters and its inclusion in various classic game compilations. Mario Bros. 1983. In the early 1980s, Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto and Gunpei Yokoi sought to expand upon the success of Donkey Kong by creating a game that delved deeper into the character of Mario. Transitioning Mario from a carpenter to a plumber, they envisioned a setting inspired by New York's intricate sewer systems. This conceptual shift led to the development of Mario Brothers, an arcade game that not only introduced Mario's brother, Luigi, but also laid the foundation for cooperative multiplayer gameplay. The gameplay of Mario Bros. Is both straightforward and engaging. Players navigate a series of platforms, combating creatures emerging from pipes by flipping them onto their backs and then eliminating them. The introduction of the POW block, which could stun all enemies on the screen, added a strategic layer to the gameplay. The cooperative mode allowed two players to control Mario and Luigi simultaneously, fostering both teamwork and friendly competition. Visually, Mario Bros. Utilized the limited graphical capabilities of its time to create create distinct and colorful characters, making it easy for players to distinguish between different enemy types and the playable characters. The game's design, featuring pipes, coins, and the iconic POW block, introduced elements that would become staples in future Mario titles. Mario Bros. Deserves recognition for its ingenious approach to character development and multiplayer gameplay. By establishing Mario and Luigi as plumbers working in a hazardous environment, the game set the stage for the expansive Mario universe that followed. Its introduction of cooperative mechanics influenced countless games thereafter, solidifying its place as a pivotal title in video game history.
You become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutch.
Dragon's Lair, 1983. In the early 1980s, a revolution in interactive animation was quietly underway at Cinematronics. A team of visionary creators, led by renowned animator Don Bluth, sought to transform video games by merging traditional hand-drawn art with cutting-edge laserdisc technology. Out of this creative cauldron emerged Dragon's Lair, a game that redefined what an arcade experience could be. Dragon's Lair tells the story of Dirk the Daring, a gallant knight on a quest to rescue Princess Daphne from the clutches of a fearsome dragon. Unlike conventional arcade games that relied on pixelated sprites, Dragon's Lair captivated players with its stunning, fully animated sequences that resembled a high-budget cartoon. Every frame was meticulously crafted, breathing cinematic life into a fantastical medieval world. The gameplay, while deceptively simple, required players to master a series of QuickTime events. At pivotal moments, precise timing was critical. One wrong move could send Dirk plummeting into a pit or falling prey to lurking dangers. This blend of interactive storytelling and rapid decision-making created an adrenaline rush that was entirely new to the arcade scene. What sets Dragon's Lair apart is its audacious ambition. It wasn't just a game, but an immersive journey that blurred the boundaries between film and play. Its innovative use of laserdisc technology paved the way for future experiments in cinematic gaming, and its artistic excellence continues to inspire developers today. Dragon's Lair deserves its place in the Arcade Hall of Fame for daring to push the envelope and redefining the possibilities of video game storytelling. Marvelous verdict. The golden age of arcade games represents a phenomenal chapter in gaming history, a time when innovation soared, pixelated heroes ruled the screens, and every coin dropped unlocked pure adventure. This era, marked by an explosive rise of classics and an eventual downfall as technology evolved, still casts a long shadow over modern titles. Its iconic games continue to inspire and ignite passion in both veteran players and new fans. If this dive into arcade nostalgia resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and let us know which of these timeless classics made your childhood unforgettable. Share your memories in the comments. We love hearing about your arcade adventures.